I've got some very exciting news for you now. I'm going to set up a new organisation that's run non-for-profit, and it's run basically to serve carp anglers and to protect carp. And I think more and more of us are being affected by the problem with predation. Otters have taken a lot of fish this winter again, and unless somebody stands up and does something about it quickly, then we're going to lose more and more fisheries. The PAG are doing a fantastic job of fighting the battle on a government level, and they're now involving solicitors and stuff, you know, to really put our argument to the right people. But I thought, what can I do in the meantime to secure carp fishing and make it more accessible for more people? So I'm going to set up this organisation, and that's got three main priorities. Number one, and most importantly, is to secure more fisheries. There's loads of lakes spread up and down the country. I'm sure loads of people know about places which nothing are being done with. You know, they're great lakes, they could be fantastic fisheries, and for whatever reason they're lying fallow. So the number one priority is to have permanent staff, full-time staff, to find these places, secure leases on them, and then start to fence them so they're protected from the word go. The way I look at it, if I can create loads of new fisheries which are really affordable for carp anglers, that is only going to secure our fishing, and hopefully it's going to make fishing more popular generally. Now, I've been in the industry over 20 years now. I've been a carp angler 30 years. It's been very kind to me. I've got a very good lifestyle as a result of it. So I don't basically need to earn any... Oh, bleepage, left-hand rod. Just a liner, still gets you going even now after 30 years. You know, I don't need to earn any more money out of carp fishing. Calder is extremely profitable, it's doing very well. I've got a lovely lifestyle, I get to go fishing when I want, and I want to put something back into the sport that I absolutely love. So these lakes are going to be affordable for everybody, and they're going to be run just right. So there's not going to be too many members, there's not going to be too many swims, there's not going to be loads of nuisance fish in the lakes that you have to wade through. They're going to be run specifically for carp anglers, they're going to be managed properly, and hopefully in years to come they're going to be some of the best waters in the country. So priority number one is to find somebody that's prepared to devote their working life to finding these lakes, securing leases, and then getting them set up. And as soon as one's set up, we move on to the next one, and on to the next one, and the next one. And to begin with, I'm going to finance it. So it's going to come out of my personal pocket, and then once these places are actually generating some money, if there's any excess money from the syndicate fees, that's going to go on to finding the next lake, and the next lake, and the next lake. And this is a lifetime's work. This is not going to come and go in a couple of years. There can't be enough carp lakes in this country for my liking. So whoever takes this job on, it's going to be a lifetime's work. Priority number two, and which is going to happen almost the same time as priority number one, is to help people fence their lakes that can't afford to do it or don't know how to do it themselves. So other non-profit making organisations like clubs and societies that perhaps haven't got the funds to fence their lakes but are in areas where otters are a problem, we're going to raise money to give them the money to fence the lakes themselves. It's much, much cheaper and much easier than most people think. I think we've all been frightened off by it in the past by thinking it's going to cost tens of thousands of pounds just to do a small lake. It's not like that anymore. I've got friends like Mark Bryant who's fenced his own lakes for just a few £1,000s, and once they're fenced, they're protected against otters forever. So that's going to be priority number two. We're going to do fundraising events. So we're going to do big slideshows where all the money that comes from the slideshow goes towards fencing a lake that really, really needs it. And what we want is clubs and societies and syndicates as well to get in touch with us and tell us they've got a problem and ask for our help. If we don't know there's a problem, we can't do anything about it. So we're all going to be raising money to do that. There's lots of real top carp anglers that are going to be helping me in that plight. And also we're hoping that other companies are going to get involved and think up new ways to raise money as well, because the more of us that can do it, the more difference we can make. And these fences are being given for free. We're not expecting anything in return. All we want to do is protect the carp and protect the lakes that we love. Priority number three, and this is a lot further down the line, is to give carp anglers a voice at a government level. And we've been saying for years that there's no one to speak up for us in the right places. The Carp Society was set up many years ago to do that. That's pretty much fizzled away and has basically just become an angling club now. The PAG are doing brilliant work. You know, they're starting to represent us at a government level, and we want to support the PAG and work in conjunction with the PAG, basically to get our argument heard and to give us a voice. But that's a long way down the line. To begin with, I think the thing I can do the best is to create more fisheries, secure more fisheries. That's going to make the most difference to carp angling in the short term. If we just wait to fight the argument and it takes 10 or 15 years to get into the right arena at government, how many carp are we going to lose in the next 10 or 15 years waiting for that to happen? So for now, priority number 1 and 2, get more lakes, fence the places that are already at risk, and start growing fish on. And we're going to have breeding programs all around the country. We're going to show clubs and societies and syndicates how to cut new scrapes in the ground, how to collect spawn, how to put it into these scrapes, how to protect them, how to feed them. So there's a conveyor belt of fish of all different strains all around the country that are being brought on, because there's a massive resource there that isn't being taken advantage of. These fish are spawning every year. The mortality rate is 99% or higher in most lakes, so hardly anything gets through. If we show people how to dig their own little pits, their own little stock ponds, they can start bringing fish on themselves, and there is nothing more satisfying than bringing a fish on from an egg, returning it back into your lake in a few years' time at double figures or whatever, and then in 10 years' time someone's catching that fish at 40 pounds. There's some brilliant syndicates up and down the country. I'm a member of a couple of them, and the guys there are very passionate and they're working really hard to do just that, spawn their own fish on, grow them independently of all the other fish so the strain stays pure, and then put them back in the lake. And that is a very noble pursuit, and I want to see people doing it up and down the country. So at the moment the organisation hasn't got a name. I've got people like John Hannon, who did the Calder logo, working on it for us. It's hopefully going to be something very modern, very catchy, but this is something that's going to run indefinitely for as long as I go carp fishing and beyond. And hopefully loads of people are going to support me in this project, and it's going to secure carp fishing for many years to come. I want carp fishing to not only survive but thrive.